So after that transition riff, again, you're going to go up and play this simple, the second riff he plays in the song after the fuzz. And then I pause there, I let it ring. The Edge at that time, what he's doing, if he doesn't already have his ring slide on, and you can see my brass ring slide. I believe this is this is a Peaceland ring slide. I hope I got the name right. If not, I'll correct it on the comments on the video. It's very well made, very comfortable, rounded. You just slip it on your finger there, and you can actually bend your finger and have a slide at the same time. So when I did my full recording, I actually kept this on. This is a 0.57 inch slide. Of course, it depends on the length between your digits, but I recommend a ring slide somewhere between 0.5 and an inch. 0.5 for me is too small. It makes it a little hard to use. And 1 inch is starting to get a little big, but I do use a 1 inch slide sometimes if I want to have a little more room in case I move the slide up and down incorrectly. So there's a ring slide for you. Again, allows you to bend your finger. So you can keep that on for the whole song, but while Edge is playing this, you'll see he takes a quick pause and he'll put on his ring slide, and then he goes to yet another preset. Edge likes to use, I believe, compression, and believe it or not, a drive. You want to have a drive in there. It gives it a full tone. You're not going to get a distortion out of it because the way you're using the slide, but some of the main effect really is a drive with no delay. So I essentially have compression into an SD1 drive into the amp. And you can add, of course, EQ and other things to get the right tone for you. I'm not a real experienced with a slide. This is actually the first time I've ever used a slide in a song, so I'm slowly getting used to it. No one's ever taught me how to use a slide, so I'm not claiming I'm the expert, and if anyone else has comments or feedback, let me know. There's a couple things that I've learned as I've gone along here, and that is the touch really has a lot to do with how the slide's going to work. You can't be too light or you'll get a lot of buzz, or if you're pushed too hard, you're going to hit the frets, and you don't want to hit the frets. Let's go show you what the tone sounds like without the slide. And the slide's going to be done on the B string. It's very tight. There's compression, there's drive in there. You don't want it too trebly. You want it to have a nice full sound. The notes are actually pretty easy. You're going to start on the 12th on the B string. I'm just going to do this with my fingers so you have the notes. You're going to slide up 2 frets to the 14. And then you can come back to the 12th and go up to the 10. And then go back down to the 14. So it's like this. And that's the picking too, okay? So it's... So you add the slide in here. If you add it too light, so you get buzzing. The slide might touch other strings, so you want to try to find a comfortable position that really brings out only that one string and maybe muffles the other strings if they're being hit by the slide or by your pick. And again, you got to be careful not pushing too hard or too light. So here's the buzz. And it's also very sensitive because you got to get right over that fret. You got to make sure you're in the right spot. If you're just a little off, you're going to be out of tune, and it's very difficult to get it in the right place. See? So that's the first part. Now, also a little trick with a slide, and I'm still getting used to it, is since it's so difficult to get the note just right on the fret, a lot of people like to do some vibrato right around it. So it kind of hides any mistakes, but it also gives it a very nice feel because it can be very difficult to get right on top of the fret. So you get something like, instead of a mistake like this, see, that's a little off. That's a little flat. That's a little sharp. That's right on. So you could do vibrato around it. So if you do the vibrato around it, you're going to, of course, go over the right note, and it gives it a nice effect. And the edge definitely does add a little vibrato. Now you're going to hit the 12. Okay, so you're going to go. Now go to 12 and slide to 10. Slide to 10 and then come back to 12 and hit it once. And when you come back to hit the 12, when you go up to 7, you're going to stop at 10 on the way. Okay, so it's this. Let me do the notes again. So you can see where I'm picking here, okay? Which notes I'm picking on. With the slide. And then you're going to hit the preset and go right into the main riff. One mistake with the slide is if you tilt it too much either way this way, the edge of the slide is going to hit the fret. So you want to make sure you're perfectly parallel to the neck, the face of the neck. Sometimes it helps to actually mute the strings behind the bridge with your first finger. It will help with some of the buzzing sometimes. So I believe we finished up all the parts of Magnficent. If you have any questions, feel free to email me.